Good morning and welcome to the Trial Guide's Tip of the Day, this middle of the week, Wednesday, September 6th, 2023. Today's tip comes from David Ball on Damages 3 by David Ball. And here to read it is David Ball.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Most jurors expect a defendant to have acted the way most others in the same position would have acted. The more you show that a defendant violated that expectation, the more jurors are likely to gauge the defendant's conduct as wrong. Jurors gauge conduct by the norm.
So this is a great tip because it puts in different language what every jury instruction says, right? What is reasonable care? And it's what the reasonably careful person in a similar situation would do. But we don't have to use that language exactly. We can talk about it in a common sense way. That's what I hear when I hear you read this.
And you need to be very careful with this. If you think about it, you'll realize this is one of the very few places in law where someone's subjective judgment is determinative of outcome. Usually the law expects you to be logical and objective, which is the opposite of subjective judgment. It discourages that. Here, the law on negligence invites the jury to use their subjective judgment of what the right thing is to do in the situation the defendant was in. And that means you need to show the jury what the expectation is. Some product defense laws, product liability laws are the same. Did the safety of this product meet user expectation? Which means you've got to try to find ways to show, for example, it could become a great jury selection topic. What do you expect in such and such a circumstance? What do you expect a company to do? What do you expect a driver to do? What do you expect a physician to do? And then take those answers and use them as the normal frames for what you're showing this defendant did not do in that case. I expect them, some jurors will say, to follow the rules they're supposed to follow. Hence, Rick Friedman and Pat Malone's book, Rules of the Road, which shows that they did not follow the rules that jurors would expect them to follow. The jurors don't have to know those rules, they just expect them to follow the rules. And insofar as it's not just that it's a rule, it's that somebody moved away from that rule. I expect them to follow that rule. That won't be true of every juror. There'll be other standards of what you expect of somebody in that situation. So I think this is all this does is take the instruction really and move it into why that instruction is public policy, what it is that we demand we need, which is why framing it this way in your mind, little note on your desk, how can I show that what they did violated, stepped away from, did not meet the expectation that we all have of somebody in that situation. And a great jury selection question, just think back I'm making this up as I go along, but think back in your life too. Can you think of people who violated an expectation that you had of them, that you felt people should meet that expectation? So you get some feeling for where jurors come in on that level. Do you meet the expectation, or for some selfish or other kind of reason that you say, the hell with what you expect, I'm going to do what I feel like doing?
I think that's exactly right. This is great wisdom, as always, from your book. And I would like to add just personally how your book and all its different 1, 2, and 3, how important it's been to me as a lawyer. And I suggest to everyone, if you don't have it, get it. It's easy. And if you have it, go back and read it, because every page of your book, every paragraph has something, like you just said. You can read about the standards and the rules, and you can take off on that, like Rules of the Road did. There's so much wisdom in your book. I suggest everyone go back and read it.
I would expand on that a little bit. Take the books that you have found valuable and take a day long before you expect a trial to come before a jury and just quickly leaf, or hopefully you highlight or underline as you read, just leaf through those books. It'll take a day if you have 5, 6, 7 books that you really like. Just take a day, or notes from seminars, whatever. But we lose 90% of what you've learned. You'll lose 90% of what you've learned, aside from the fact you'll see things you didn't see before. But when you go back over, you say, oh, yeah, I remember that. This is going to be dead on right in this case. You don't have to reread the whole thing. Just leaf through it all. It seems like plotting, but I'm told people that do it, because it works for me when I'm reviewing for something I need to review for. And everybody I've talked to who's done it says it's one of the most valuable things they do. Go back through all that wonderful information you've gathered and make sure you're mining it now for how can I use it in this next case. Don't lose what you put all that time and money into gathering.
Some more great advice this middle of the week. Thank you so much for being here today, David.
Thank you, Michael. Pleasure.
Let's take a deep breath together and be grateful to be alive this Wednesday. May we work today to help reduce suffering in the world. May our efforts as lawyers and as people help to repair the world. May we fiercely and compassionately advocate for our clients, champion their stories, and do so from a place of compassion. I'm going to ring a bell now. This can take you into a meditation practice, a prayer practice, or just remind you, wake up, it's Wednesday. Go out, do good things, and have fun while you're doing it.